Hey guys, back with another episode of Knoxinboots Podcast Sports Talk. Today we're going to be covering topics that's latest on the Atlanta Falcons. It's kind of been overdue. A lot has changed personnel-wise and different schemes too. So sit back and relax because it's going to be a wild one. All right, so we got a lot to dive in today. Well, we already know who our head coach is and our offensive coordinator, Kevin Stefanski and Tommy Rees. I don't like this this match for the Falcons, but hey, it is what it is, right? So, a few things that has happened since the offseason began for the Falcons. Hired new staff, but the first topic is Kevin Stefanski and Tommy Rees are focusing on the run game for the offense. So what they're going to do is they're going to focus heavily on the run game. They're going to bring in Bijan Robinson is a standout running back. Like, he is almost like a Swiss Army knife. If he can get his catching down pat, he can become like a Christian McCaffrey for us, which will definitely help our offense out. It will take us from relying heavily on the pass game, which is kind of been iffy for the Falcons. And with this, they're going to go with the 2 tight end set, which is normal for what Kevin Stefanski has been running since he was even an offensive coordinator for Minnesota. He also ran that same type of offense in Cleveland, and we saw how that happened. This is kind of tough because, for one, Atlanta, we do have a good offensive line. We have an offensive line that can stand with test of time. Our offense has not really been it's not built for that heavy passing type. To be honest, we have good receivers. Could we get better at the receiving core? Yes, we absolutely can. And with free agency going to be upon us within a few weeks, it's something that can be addressed. And with our salary cap, it can. But in order for it to have a good, sustained run game, we have to have a defense that can, slow the game down and put pressure on opposing teams. We have a good defense. However, there are now some concerns in that area now. Can it be addressed? Absolutely. Could it be fixed? Sure. But those are a whole lot of couldas. And I'm on the fence with this. I do believe that we should run a lot more, and Atlanta is so special because we've always been the type to have 2 really good running backs. Throughout our tenure, we've always had good running backs. Our offense used to it used to be where there was multiple weapons on the offense, but the defense was always lacking. And then when our defense is great, our offense is lacking. So there has to be a balance there. The problem with the run-heavy offense is it's very predictable, and if you don't have the right weapons in the right part at positions, it becomes very, very predictable. We see that the same type of offense with the Baltimore Ravens. They're a heavy run team. Quarterback can run. Running back Derrick Henry can. We already know what Derrick Henry brings to the table, and we see that offense is okay, but when it comes down to the playoffs, it becomes in the playoffs it's a lot more physical than it is during the regular season, and yet, so that type of offense, unless you're planning on holding a team under 30, it's gonna be hard to sustain this type of offense, because we're in a pass-heavy offense now, and when you rely on the run, all the defensive players, they're getting faster. The coaching scheme, it makes it very one-dimensional. Even if you want to run play action, well, what happens if the run is stopped? And nobody's just going to allow you just to run all over them. I mean, it's the NFL. So what happens when the run game stops and now you got to be forced to pass the ball? Then what? Right? So I can see where they're trying to go with this. I just don't trust the coaching staff. I especially on the offensive side, I don't trust the offensive side of the coaching staff. Defense, now that JPJ, well, I'm gonna get into that a little bit later, but so let's look at the coaching staff we have here for the Falcons. Today, the Falcons hired Jordan Reed as their assistant quarterback coach. Now, Jordan Reed's resume, he was with a wide receivers coach for the University of Wisconsin last year. So he's fresh into the NFL. This is going to be the first time coaching in the NFL at an NFL level. So that's going to be something to look at. And he was a wide receivers coach. Now he's going to be an assistant quarterback coach. Kind of a little bit out of his repertoire, but it's something that could be learned. Yesterday, Atlanta brought in Sean Heinlein. He was the Southwest area scout for the Cleveland Browns for the past 3 years. Again, that's another Cleveland Browns hire. He's going to be the director of college scouting. He's been around the league for a while. He's been for over 16 seasons. He was with the Buffalo Bills. He moved over to Cleveland, but before that he's been around Ian Cunningham, who is our GM, and I think that's a good hire. I think Ian Cunningham, looking at what he did for Chicago, specifically what he did for Chicago, he turned that organization around like that. Like the draft picks they were able to get because of him, the moves that he made that at the time seemed kind of risky, but it pays off. It paid off ultimately in the end. And so, but this same guy who's been around also with Cleveland. So that's another Cleveland hire. So far we got 3 people right now that's from the Cleveland Browns. I'm sorry. Then we brought in Chase Blackburn on last Thursday. He was the special teams coordinator for the Los Angeles Rams. He's going to be joining the Atlanta Falcons as the assistant special team coach. He also has worked, he's been at that assistant coach and coordinator with the Carolina Panthers, the Tennessee Titans, and, of course, the Los Angeles Rams. They also brought in, on the 10th, they brought in Ricky Manning. He was the cornerback coach for the Las Vegas Raiders in 2024. He's going to be the assistant defensive back / the nickelback coach. He's been in the league for 7 years, so he's been around from the Seahawks to the Jets, and then the Raiders. Then they brought in Troy Lewis. Same day, they got him. He's going to be the defensive line coach. Oh, he was the defensive line coach at University of Toledo. He is going to be the assistant defensive line coach. We kept Barrett Ruud. He was coaching Caden Ellis, who I'm going to talk about also as well. John Timu. They brought him back. They brought him back. He's going to still be at the. He's going to be the outside linebacker coach. He was he was the defensive assistant last season. They brought in Matt Jones, who's going to be he was the offensive assistant and assistant offensive line coach. He will be joining the Atlanta Falcons as the assistant offensive line coach as well. So he's going to continue that role. Tumbo, he's going to stay the director of scouting. Michael Bearden. They hired him back on January the 30th. He was a Cleveland Browns Willis coaching fellow last year. So he's joining the Atlanta Falcons coaching fellow, offensive assistant here. So that's another Cleveland Browns. So we have 4. Then they brought in Craig Ackerman, and he's from the Miami Dolphins. He's a special teams coordinator. He's going to join the Atlanta Falcons as a special teams coordinator. Then we go to Jacqueline Roberts. She was brought in January 22nd, and she was the coordinator of coaching logistics for the Cleveland Browns last year. She will be joining Atlanta as the manager of coaching operations. So she got her NFL start last year, 2024, and she as an intern with the team logistics, and she was promoted to the coordinator of coaching logistics in 2025. So that's another Cleveland Browns hire. Then we go down to Bob Quinn, and he was hired January 26th. He was a senior personnel and coaching executive for the Cleveland Browns, and he will be joining the Atlanta Falcons as the senior advisor to the head coach. That's another Cleveland Browns hire. Michael Bearden. Wait, I'm sorry, I already did Michael Bearden. Right now, as it stands, we're turning into the Atlanta Browns. We're turning into the Atlanta Browns. And I get, having people who you trust, but we've seen how that happened, what happened with Cleveland. And it was so bad in Cleveland last year that they took the coaching rights the offensive play calling from Kevin Stefanski and gave it to Tommy Reeves. And it didn't really do much better. It was what it was. Now, Cleveland, yes, they have a whole lot of mess that they have to navigate through because for so long they've been so bad. But as the head coach, it's your job to go into an organization and try to fix it. A lot of people love to contribute to Kevin Stefanski, the 2 offensive, the 2 Coach of the Years awards. And that's fine. If you do that, okay, but you can't. He was there for 6 years. And out of those 6 years, they made the playoffs twice. And he was given those Coach of the Years because they made it to the playoffs. But if you look at the numbers for Kevin Stefanski in those 6 years, the 2 years that he won, he shouldn't have won. The 2023 is his best year as an offensive, as a head coach on the offensive side. I think he ranked 10th in points or yards per game. Like and then 16th in points. So I mean, it was okay, but it's not Coach of the Year. The only reason he won Coach of the Year in 2020 and in 2023 is because the Browns made the playoffs. I didn't know that was, that was a reason to give him a pat on the back, because he didn't fix the organization. And then the real reason that they got to the playoffs was because of the defense. When you have a guy like Myles Garrett on your defense, and Denzel Ward, and those guys, that defense is what saved Cleveland. And it wasn't because of the offense. Now you bring that same staff over to the Falcons. How does that help us? How does that make us better than what we were last year? Yes, now you can say our division is weaker compared to Cleveland's division. You can say that. But our division is competitive because everybody's familiar with each other in a way. I don't see how, he makes our team better. And now we get to talk about the defensive side, because our defense last year was kind of our saving grace. They kept us in games, and a lot of times we lost games off because of the offense. We lost a lot of games because of the offense. Miscues, lack of effort. Even on the defensive side, there was some lackadaisical. There were some inconsistencies there, I should say. Like guys weren't giving their all. And you could attribute that to Coach Raheem Morris not being, tough on the guys like that. He was trying to be more of the player-friendly type of coach. But at the end of the day, he's not out there playing. He's coaching. And it's your job you get paid to do a job, and you should do it. But they weren't doing it. Now our defense is taking a turn here. Our defense is taking a turn here. We got some key players getting ready to hit the free agency market. Kyle Pitts, Tyler Algier, Caden Ellis, David Onyemata, and Leonard Floyd. They're all slated to be free agents this year. Unrestricted free agents at that. I think Pitts is more likely to get the franchise tag, but rumor has it is that the Philadelphia Eagles are looking at Kyle Pitts. It would be crazy if he went to Philadelphia. It would be great for him. It would be great for Jalen Hurts. But for us, that guy can, outside of not blocking, he can play. Now, he got complacent, but hey, he's talent-wise, the guy has it. It's just getting it out of him, and I don't know if that's going to help us. I mean, we could franchise tag him and then try to work in a deal to try to sign him before the season starts. But if Philly is going to pursue him, then there are probably other teams that are looking at him too. Could you see an offense next year without Kyle Pitts? We don't have a first round pick. We really don't. So we got to look at that, and we have a second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth and seventh, I believe. Or maybe a seventh. Not a sixth. So there's that. Then we got Caden Ellis, our defensive standout from our linebacker position. our middle linebacker position, or inside linebacker, middle linebacker position. From a production standpoint, there are few inside linebackers with the numbers that Caden Ellis had over the last few years. I mean, just last year, Ellis finished second in the league among the linebackers with 30 pressures, and was one of two players in the NFL, only with after Tyrell Dotson, with 100 plus tackles, 10 plus tackles for loss, 3.5 sacks, 3.5 plus sacks, and an interception in last year. That's a big piece for our defense. He was our voice on that defensive side. What if he goes? Now, again, everything I'm saying is we got the salary cap, and if the Falcons decide to restructure Jake Matthews' contract, and I forgot who else's contract, we could possibly have some good chunk of change, even if we decide on March 11th to just flat out cut Kirk Cousins and eat that. We still could have, I believe, like $53 million in cap space. Not bad. We could do, that's really, really good. But then we gotta look at the fact of James Pierce Jr. And he was a young up-and-coming rusher. I mean, he still is, but with now the charges that he's facing now because of this whole situation down in Florida, it seemed like Atlanta is cursed, man. It seemed like we cursed. And every time we get some real talent, all the way, like if you think about Michael Vick, what happened with Michael Vick, I believe we could have won a championship with Vick at some point if Vick had gotten a Julio Jones to work with, Michael, the burner, Turner, Michael Turner. I think we could have, won a Super Bowl. It just seems like in his career, his prime years, he spent in jail. Now, not taking no accountability away from him and his actions, because he deserved it. And like a man, he faced his problems, and he paid for it. But it seems like Atlanta has that thing that just keep holding them back every single time. And now here we are. We have a promising young man who was definitely on the rise. Now get hit with this type of situation, and now we're looking at he's probably not going to be on the team. I don't know if they're going to give him the same treatment as Michael Vick. I will be shocked if they don't. But here it is, another situation where this is self-inflicting wound. Then you look at Tyler Algier, another really good. I think Tyler Algier has more weaponry right now than Bijan does. Bijan, like I said, Bijan he's a great asset. I wouldn't, if I had to choose between him and Tyler Algier, I would probably walk away, because both of them are really, really good. And they both provide something that we both need. But I do believe Tyler Algier needs to be a number one running back somewhere. He's just not going to be in Atlanta. He can catch. He can out past the line of scrimmage. He can catch. He's excellent, and he runs. He don't look big, but he runs like he is Jerome Bettis. He runs like that. He's not afraid of contact. It ain't gonna be fancy, but he is going to hit you. He's gonna meet you at the point of contact, and he's not afraid to do it. That 1-2 combo is always, like I said, we've had that 1-2 combo always with the running backs position. Like it don't matter which time frame you go through, we've had 2 great running backs. And David Onyemata, excellent defenseman, and so is Leonard Floyd. Both great options. We if we can sign all of them, that would be great. We can re-sign them all. That would be great. But I do believe Tyler Algier at least needs to go out and become a number 1 somewhere. He's just not going to get that opportunity in Atlanta, and I don't think it's fair to him to have him coming off the bench for Bijan. Even though it was great, because now when Bijan needs a rest, we know we got somebody who, or Bijan is getting shut down, we know we got somebody who can get us some yards. And that's what Tyler Algier did, but I would not, suppress his skill set to just become that. I believe he's a 1,000-yard rusher every time he steps out on that field. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. He's a 1,000-yard rusher every time he steps out on that field. To look at the whole landscape of the Atlanta Falcons right now, like I said, this is just Cleveland 2.0. Same staff members they brought down there, with a few sprinkled here from other teams, and retained some people from the Falcons from our original staffing. But apparently there's reports out there, it's rumored right now, that Cleveland Browns are going to cut Dillon Gabriel. That's right, they're getting ready to cut their 3rd round pick. And they're going to keep Shedeur and Deshaun Watson. They can't get rid of Deshaun Watson. He's eating up he's eating up a lot of money from them. So nobody's going to want Deshaun Watson. So Cleveland stuck with them. That was a horrible decision by them to pay him that much money up front, and all of it guaranteed. But with Dillon Gabriel about on the verge of getting cut, if this happens, I don't know if this is going to happen. Like I said, right now it's a rumor. Who's to say that Atlanta won't pick him up? We already know the relationship between him and Kevin Stefanski. We know the relationship there. Kevin Stefanski's agent has also represented all of Dillon Gabriel's coaches in college. There's a relationship there. So who's to say that, now that he's on the market, Kevin Stefanski, hey, I want him. I want to bring him on his team. Because we don't know for a fact what, Michael Penix Jr. is going to be. There's high hopes for Michael Penix Jr., but there's that what if, and I wouldn't feel comfortable paying Michael Penix Jr. Big right now. I would say when the contract expires or get ready, I wouldn't be surprised if they franchise tag him to just see if he's worth it. He has a lot to prove this year, but I do definitely see that with the way things are going right now, I would not be surprised if Dillon Gabriel ended up on the Atlanta Falcons, thus completing that Cleveland Browns cycle. And just to do it, just to show, because we play Cleveland this year. We play Cleveland one time this year. That's going to be it for them. And I definitely see a possibility where they just stick it to Cleveland, to put him on the Falcons, and with our talent around him, and then just kind of, if we win, to rub it in Cleveland's face, like, you missed out on this. I definitely see a world where that's possible. I definitely do. I don't think Dillon Gabriel is an NFL caliber quarterback at all. I think he was not worth a 3rd round pick in Cleveland. He was not. He was not worth the 3rd round pick in that draft last year. And the fact that he was drafted in the 3rd round, I don't know, man. If that does happen, I don't know how I will feel as a Falcons fan anymore, because we've worked so damn hard to try to establish our own identity for somebody else to come in and bring in a dysfunctional environment. We worked so hard, and to get set back like that, I don't know. And it's nothing we can really do about it. I just know if we don't make the playoffs, what does this really say about Matt Ryan? What does that say about? Because this is all going to fall on him. So he has to make the right decisions. And if, I don't know, if we don't make the playoffs, I'm also going to look at Arthur Blank, because you essentially brought in Matt Ryan. And Matt Ryan brought in all of these folks with the promise of that things are going to change. I don't know, man. This is turning out to be, it's like almost a sitcom. Watching the Falcons doing this free agency, it's going to be really, really intriguing. And I'm going to try my best to bring more content as we go. But man, this is a tough pill to swallow, because it's a tough pill to swallow. And I'm always hopeful for my team. I love my city, even though I don't live there no more. But this right here, I hope it works. I hope it works. But it definitely is shaping up to be something that is definitely shaping up to be something that is ugly to watch. It definitely seems like a big setback to all the hard work that was put in. It definitely is. But that's just my thoughts. So you guys let me know in the comment section how y'all feel about this. Because like I said, I'm almost lost for words on how this is transpiring. This is really alarming, but I could be just overreacting. I could be. Like I said, if it turns out to be, if the Falcons makes it to the playoff, we go far, I will be the first person to get on here and apologize. Because the same way I'm voicing my disdain for them, I need to be even louder with my apology. So if it works out, we're gonna pay close attention to this year. I will definitely get on here and I will apologize, because an apology will be deserved. But if it doesn't, boy, it ain't gonna be. I'm gonna shoot straight with you. Somebody allowed to be cussed out. But as always, this is here for hot takes, but not just hot takes, but also factual takes. It's all love, and still we rise up. So yeah, comment your thoughts. I'd love to engage and pick everybody's brain to see what they're thinking at. And who knows, this is gonna be an interesting season. But yeah, peace up, A-Town down.